Part 2. The Secrets of the Black Russian Terrier's Beauty. Welcome to Malahovka. The presentation of the film Black Russian Terrier, Welcome to Malahovka, took place on an international dog show Russia in autumn 2001. From those days, both dog owners and press, even foreign press, are admiring the film. In the spring of 2002, we met our movie stars Yashka Malahovsky, Lala Chornaya, Krala Lala, Razboynik, Primadonna and Kalinka Malinka, those who live and walk in Malahovsky Kennel, again, now to talk about the secrets of Russian Black Terrier's beauty. The need in a hairdresser, baba, is one of the things that show us the cultural level of society. To make a beautiful haircut is a real art that has a long history. If a person thinks about his beauty and the beauty of the world around him, that shows us the society with a good aesthetical perception. And because of this, the profession of a dog hairdresser has existed in Europe from ancient times. Russia is not an exception. But the tradition of preparing dogs for exhibitions started only in the beginning of 20th century. Before the dogs were shown with a haircut in a Russian Shepherd style, only poodles were a lucky exception. We can affirm that in Russia in 1927 such question was discussed. Do Airedales, Foxes and Griffins need hair trimming and stripping? Luckily, they decided that it's necessary to groom and strip dogs. So, what do these words mean? Let's start with grooming. The word comes from the English groom, a man who looks after horses. In our case, this word is true about dogs, and it means to take care of a dog that includes everyday hygiene procedures. We should clean dogs' eyes, ears, cut their claws, cut long tangled hair between communal pets, and of course comb the dog. We can say that grooming is washing and cleaning dogs' hair, drying and combing in order to give the dogs a harmonical shape. Nowadays, we can regard conditioning, protecting dogs' hair and skin from environmental pollution, is a kind of grooming. So, let's talk about trimming and stripping. The word trimming comes from the English to trim, which we generally understand as to bring to good condition, right order. Stripping comes from the English to strip, to peel, to take off, to nude. This is the translation, but the meaning of this word concerning dogs is mechanical shading, changing hair. It is mainly applied to wiry-haired dogs. We know that in breeding a Black Russian Terrier, were used Rottweilers, long-haired Newfoundland dogs, Airedales, and Riesenschnauzers. We only wipe dust from Rottweilers and only wash and brush Newfoundland dogs. But as for Riesenschnauzers and Airedales, we need much more serious work with their hair to put it in order for show. It was after these two breeds that the Blackie took its hair. The 1956 standard said, thick rough hair, broken or wavy coat, the decorating hair is well developed. Thick undercoat, black and grayish-brown color. The 1997 standard said, thick rough hair, broken coat, 4-10 centimeters long covering the whole dog's body. Thick soft undercoat, well developed. Trimming is necessary according to the rules. The difference between these two descriptions is slight. It shows that the Black Russian Terrier's hair should have the same structure and texture as the hair of recent Schnauzers or Airedales. There are some differences too. The Black Russian's hair is not so close to the body because of its length, almost like Newfoundland's. The modern Russian Black Terrier acquired decorating hair, but its hair has lost its stiffness that the first Blackies had. The hair had become longer and thicker and now requires modeling by scissors. Nowadays it's really hard to meet on a show a dog of an old type. So do we need to return to the dogs with the hair of an old type? It's the time that gives us an answer. The Black Terrier has turned out to be a very effective show dog, keeping its working qualities, which an owner can either develop or not. In this film we will talk about such aspects as feeding, hygiene, protecting from environment influencing. Any of these aspects reflects on condition of dog's hair and on its state of health.
Even such factors as walking near the highway can influence the quality of the Black Russian Terrier's hair. The hair seems to be dry and dim if the air in your house is very hot or humid. Black Terriers don't like to sleep on carpets or beddings, but if you have decided to make a place for your pet, you should arrange it away from the radiators. It is obligatory to choose a bedding made of anti-static fabric. This way, you will prevent forming fleeces on your terrier's hair.
Everything that you have heard now is not an abstract advice. No, it's a system of taking care of Black Russians that was settled once and for all in Malahovky kennel, adjusted through the years, a kind of an order that will not be broken. So why it's so? Why we can't break the order? Because the people who work here clearly understand that once you give yourself an indulgence, all your achievements will come to nothing.
It is known that you need to look after Black Terrier's hair all the year round, and especially it is necessary in the spring and summertime when fleas and ticks appear, and which results in hemorrhages and emphysema. And besides, don't forget to wash your Black Terrier every month, using different moistening shampoos and conditioners. Use different oils. And I recommend you to rinse your pet hair with herbal potions. For example, nettle, burdock, chamomile and vermagret ones. You can think it's rather hard task, but it will be much harder to restore damaged hair.
Besides taking care of dogs, it's necessary to feed them properly. Nowadays our market is saturated with the modern balanced dog food from different trademarks. So even if we can't say anything bad about the concrete dog food, you must understand that not every food on the market will agree with your dog. Some breeds, and among them Black Russian Terriers, need to have their ration chosen with caution. If you take care of the dog properly, but the hair isn't in a very good condition, you can improve its state with the help of a correctly chosen diet, using the variety of dog food hills. As the variety of medical dog food hills is really wide, don't try to find a kind of food that seems to suit your dog in a concrete situation. The choice should be taken only after consulting the vet, or if it's required after laboratory tests. If your dog doesn't have problems with hair, nevertheless, we recommend using hills for adult dogs, where all its needs in nutrition matters are taken into account. I shall not go into details about the contents of proteins, vitamins, unsaturated fatty acids. I shall only tell that today Hills introduces forages for adult dogs in 6 variations, 3 kinds of dry forages and 3 kinds of canned food. This variety will help you find what will suit your dog best. Naturally, you will need instruments for grooming. They are necessary for hair cutting, brushing out and washing dog, for drying the dog's hair, for combing and for special drift. For different kinds of dog, the sets of instruments differ. Before we show you what the purpose of these instruments, you will need to understand the sequence.
Firstly, you need to put your dog on the table and carefully feel it to detect places with hair plickers. As a rule, black Russian Terriers have them on the beard and whiskers, armpits, on the stomach and under the tail, and on the inner and back surfaces of back legs. The plickers can be cut down, but you shouldn't do it as soon as you feel a plicker. Today there are compositions that allow you to untangle them. You should put this composition on a plicker until it gets completely soaked. Then you have to wait some time in order for the plicker to become impregnant with composition, and then it will be easier to untangle it. When the composition is soaked into, we start to comb. We do it with a comb with infrequent teeth rounded on its edges. The aim of such combing is to eliminate pieces of mud and dead hair. The second aim is to divide the stuck together and combed hair up to the skin. We do it in order to prepare the dog for the next stage. While we were combing the dog, the plickers got soaked with composition and now can easily be combed and untangled. The main thing you will need on the first stage is patience, a lot of patience. The dog will need even more patience. Why? Because you need to save as much hair as possible, so to do these operations delicately. However, delicacy is an integral part of the Black Russian Terrier grooming. It is rather desirable to use conditioner while combing. You need to choose conditioner for every type of hair, even in one breed. The next stage is washing. It is preferable to put the dog on a rubber carpet in the bath or shower cabin. The water shouldn't be hot. The most reasonable temperature is the temperature of a human body or a bit higher. Hot water will over-dry a dog's hair and will make it soft. For washing, we use special professional cosmetics oil system, special shampoo, stabilizer and conditioner. It is necessary to wet hair carefully before plotting off a shampoo. The first shampoo is super cleaning, dissolving by water. Usually it is 2 spoons on half liter of water. Then we put the solution into watering pot. Long pot is exactly what we need for a uniform distribution of the solution on the dog's hair. We water and at the same time rub shampoo into the hair with the help of the fingers. Then, in the same way, we use the second shampoo, which is necessary to make the hair color of your black hair more saturated and to improve its texture. The stabilizer also gets dissolved by water and uniformly rubbed into the dog's hair. The stabilizer eliminates unpleasant smell, washes off grease and prepares the hair for conditioning. And at last, conditioner. To prepare your dog for the show, you should use protein conditioner. It will make its hair more obedient for combing, protect it from over-drying, allow you to increase the volume of the haircut, and will protect its shape. You should wash off the conditioner in 2 minutes. We recommend to use conditioner containing herbal oils between shows. Use it for regeneration and protecting hair from mud and damage. It is necessary to remember that half of your success in preparing a show haircut is well-washed hair. Wet hair is wrung out by arms and dredged by a tissue, well imbibing a moisture. It is better to dry black Russian Terrier with a special dryer, powerful, making not hot air but warm. At the same time, you need to comb your dog's hair with smoothly varying moves, decomposing hair in different directions, not making sharp movements by your hand. This procedure of drying starts with the croup and back, places with the shortest hair, then we dry longer hair. Due to using conditioner while washing, the combing becomes an easier process. Hair is not over-dried and don't become breakable. The most problematic are beards and whiskers of the Russian Terrier. Sometimes, after feeding, you should not only clean but also wash, dry and comb them. You need to wipe beard every time you give water to your dog. This place requires a special comfort in order to prevent flickers, so you need to comb beard at least once a week. As the hair of a black Russian is frequently stuck together in accurate eating, you need to comb it in a delicate way with the help of special compositions, facilitating combing. The bottle contains concentrated shampoo. You don't need to wash it off, conditioner and anti-static. Long and thick hair on the muzzle denotes harmonic appearance of the black terrier, and it's natural that the losses of hair are not advisable. But if the hair becomes thin, it's better to cut it off and make the beard properly shaped. Anyway, it will grow up later, but will be much thicker. Black Russian Terrier's eyes are reliably protected by a long thick fringe, but you should watch that it doesn't get into the eyes. Sometimes the fringe is braided so as it could lie on the dog's head, or you just attach it with a rubber. In both cases, we should wet the fringe, especially in the foundation, with a conditioner containing a complex of oils to prevent it from breaking. The ears should always be open for air access, so you must remove all the hair closing the acoustical pulse. Otherwise, the ear could become inflamed. Cleaning teeth is a special procedure. You should clean them at least once a week to prevent odontolith. A special toothpaste exists for this purpose, but if you don't have one, you can use a good tooth powder. But removal of an odontolith you should entrust to a vet.
It is reasonable to use Hill's new product, Canine Dental Care, to take care of dogs' teeth. These pellets are intended for an abatement of formation of debris, taking out an odontolith, bleaching the teeth. They even help to remove unpleasant smell from the mouths of adult dogs. I advise also to try another Hill's diet, called Prescription Diet Canine TIDI. It prevents your dog's teeth from periodontal diseases progresses.
All that we have shown and told you is in the sensible hygienic routines for regular care of your dog. It is important to remember that you should check dog's eyes every day, inspect a dog on availability of plickers and comb it with a special anti-plickers brush at least for 10 minutes. You should check ears and teeth once a week, and if necessary clean them. Once a month we cut claws, if they don't grind off on the solid ground. We recommend you to comb out dead hair once a week with the help of stripper, which is good for this purpose. We put a dog in a right order according to the standard by cutting hair. Trim it. We put frayed hair on the muzzle. Cut hair inside legs and under the tail. And trim unproductive endings on the hair on dog's croup. You should wash your dog as required. But in Malahovky kennel, we do it not less than once a month. It is necessary to wash show dogs before each show.
After the dog has been combed, washed, dried and once more combed, comes a very important stage – hair cutting. We'll show you how to cut Black Russian Terrier for a show on an example of one dog from Malahovky kennel, meaning that the dog shouldn't only go on the ring and even shouldn't only get excellent mark, but become a winner.
The first thing that groomer should have in his mind is that the dog's haircut should be symmetrical. And what does it mean? The explanation is simple. If you look at the dog from front, back, side, from above and even from below, the one dog's side should be a mirror image of the other. The groomer's aim is to make an individual haircut and each dog's part should be in harmony with the other. Furthermore, the modern Black Russian Terrier's haircut should fully reflect the demands of standard as much as it's possible for a concrete dog. And if the hair groomer managed to hide the dog's physical defects and keep its proportions, we can say that this groomer had made an ideal model of a Black Russian Terrier.
Especially for obviousness, we'll show you digital combination of shootings of a Black Russian Terrier. The left side of the dog has been prepared for show, and the right one is simply washed and combed. Here you can clearly see what is harmony and what is simply well-groomed dog.
So how should we start a haircut? Look at the dog attentively at a several meters distance and take a side view. Approach the dog and feel it, carefully evaluating its structure. Find the upper side of the shoulder blade. This is withers. The distance from withers to the last rib approximately is the same as the one from the last rib to the sciatic prominence. The dog's height in withers is approximately the same as the distance from humeroscapular joint to sciatic prominence. It is typical of the dogs of square format, to which, according to the standard, the Black Russian Terrier belongs.
These 2 points should be on one horizontal line, which is parallel to the ground surface, and to one more horizontal line drawn imaginatively between ulna and knee joint. The head length approximately is the same as necks, and 2 lengths of the back. The height in withers is approximately twice as longer as the length of the head. It is typical for a Black Terrier that the lower part of the rib cage is on the level or a bit lower than elbow. And if these proportions are kept, you don't need to measure your dog's angles. They are ideal. And everything that we have said marks an ideal Black Terrier, according to the standard.
If there is some deflection from the above given scheme, then an experienced groomer can always hide them with the help of a right haircut. Honestly speaking, this is the main aim of the haircut. You are lucky if you needn't hide anything, but this is uncommon. But there are some dogs.
It's this way judges always observe the dog not only from the sides, but also from the front side, back side, above side, and damn it, in motion. So let's talk about how the dog should be looking from front side, back side, and above side. The Black Terrier's chest is oval in section, long, wide and deep, with several prominent ribs. The front part of the chest is a bit protruding in front of the humeroscapular joints said in standard.
Come to the dog from the backside, embrace the rib cage, evaluate roundness and length of the ribs. Don't forget to estimate where the lower part of the chest according to the elbow is. Evaluate the front leg's height. It should be a bit longer than the dog's height in withers. When we talk about the height of the front extremities, we mean the distance from ground to the elbow. Find the front protuberance of the sternum and last pair of ribs. Evaluate the rib cage length. Go round the dog and stand in front of it. Evaluate the width of shoulders. Your dog will have the wildest part of the future haircut there.
The imaginative line in front of the humeroscapular joints divides the chest in height approximately as 1 to 2. The protuberance of sternum is on the horizontal flatness where this line lies. If you look at the dog from sides, that's the most prominent forward part of the body. Then closely examine the constitution of the front extremities. According to the standard, they are straight and parallel if you look from the front.
Now look at the dog from the back. Estimate the constitution and set of the back extremities. Naturally, they must be set a bit wilder than the front extremities. Metatarsus are massive, parallel. Estimate the back extremities from a side. The length and width of the thigh. Lengthened angle of shank. Hock jock's angle and width.
It's very important to achieve proper set of back extremities while looking at the dog from sides. The metatarsus should stand vertical and from a 90-degree angle with the surface. The width of the legs set should be twice as wide as croup's width.
We recommend to start making haircut from the tail, to be exact from the back legs. You must remember that the inside surface of the legs and inguinal area should be always cut. Find the hock joint and take 2-3 cm step back. Take the machine and start to cut along the shank, then along the thigh, up to the tail. This is the door number 1 on the scheme. first we contemplate the outline of the future haircut, and then cut very short using a cutting machine. You must cut the back part of the back legs opposite the stifle joint in the most careful way. Here it's very important to cut closer to the infernal surface of the back legs.
The hair of the same length should be in front of the neck and on the throat, zone number 2. The outer side of the ear is cut very shortly. Another part that is cut very shortly is an up part of the skull, from the supraorbital ridges up to the occiput.
With the cutting machine, we start cutting throat from the downside against the hair, and we cut from the sternum prominence up to the beard. You must use the nozzle on your machine that leaves 2-3 centimeters of hair. Hold the machine tightly. You must run the machine in a confident and smooth way, trying to cut equally. If you cut one place for a long time or try to cut some places several times to improve haircut, you can get a bald patch. Don't cut beard and whiskers too short. Now the expert is cutting the upper part of the skull. Here we keep the hair a bit longer than on the throat, but also cut very short. We keep nearly 2-3 centimeters. Now with the help of the machine we cut the internal surface of the ear very short. The cutting of the ear's edge is very complicated. Here you need a particular prudence because the dog can twitch. Pay attention to the instrument. The cutting edges of the scissors are curved a bit, and its length is no more than 6 centimeters. Such form and size of the scissors is an additional guarantee of safety.
So let's examine the scheme once more. Now we should understand how to make a smoothly varying transferring from the zone number 3, the whole dog's body, where the hair has length 4-6 centimeters, to the hair on the legs, where the hair's length 8-10 centimeters. This transferring is in the 4th zone on the scheme, which is formed of the lines A and B.
At first we need to go through with the dog's back to model the proper top line. We need to model the whole surface properly. Pay attention to the position of the scissors. They are strictly parallel to the surface of the model. Look at the scissors movements, how effective they are cutting the hair. I'll remind you that the hair is washed, combed and dried properly. It's easy to cut it, but you need to work with scissors to make the modeled surface absolutely smooth. The smooth transferring from the internal part of the thigh up to the croup is a very important part of the haircut. These are very smooth lines from both sides of the tail. If your dog is stretched, you can diminish its format visually and hide some croup defects with the help of these lines. Now we are forming compact round foot. Pay attention to the fact that the claws are visible a bit. We are trimming hair on the internal face of the rear pattern. Pay attention to the fact that the longer the cutting edges of the scissors, the better for you. It's a very beautiful example of modeling which emphasizes the angle of the hock joint. We comb hair down once more. It's an invariable procedure during the process. You comb down, then trim. We comb down the hair and make a foot of beautiful form. We start modeling the body, the transferring from the longer hair on the sides of the dog. Having finally achieved that the hair lies naturally, we cut so as to make the surface smooth. This is the waistline, a very important place. The next procedure is to cut hair on the front surface on the back leg. This is the right position of the scissors, upwards. We copy the natural outline of the leg. That's how we form the knee angle. Now let's go to the front surface of the thigh. We should make a very smooth line from knee up to the thigh. The dog's compactness depends on this line. If the dog is stretched, this line would be moved to the dog's last rib as much closely as the hair lets us. The hair shouldn't be translucent. Then we cut the lower part of the chest and stomach. Pay attention to the haircut line. It should be like this. The front legs are modeled in the same way as the back legs. The extra hair is cut along the croup. There is one very important thing. We cut through transferring from the short hair on the neck up to the withers and from the withers up to the shoulders. Look at the position of the brush. It shows the slope of the blade bone. You must estimate this place from above.
The same smoothly varying transferring is indicated on the scheme by zones 5 and 6. In zone number 5, we should pass from very short hair, 3 mm, to the longest, 8-10 cm. Zone number 6 makes it transferring from the shortest hair up to the hair of the middle size, 4-6 cm. We should reach the same smooth transferring in the zone number 7, on the C and D lines. And in the zone number 8 on the line E.
Now the expert is trying to make a smooth transferring from a very short hair on the throat up to the longer hair on the withers. It is ideal to use curved scissors for cutting this place. It will give us an opportunity to make a very smooth line of the haircut. Now the expert is cutting the withers. It is a preparation for cutting the head.
The hair is augmented in length from the line E in the direction of the nose and downwards step by step, transferring in whiskers and beard. The longer the beard and the whiskers, the better. But it's important to observe two conditions. The first one is that head size, form including the beard, should be in harmony with the black terrier's body. The second one is, hair on the beard and whiskers must be thick. It's better to cut shabby endings.
Now there is a very delicate work. To model every transferring from short hair on the forehead up to the long on the temples, and at the same time from a short hair on the throat and on the cheekbones up to the temples. You need a brush with frequent teeth and special double scissors for it. Now it's necessary to give the head a rectangle shape. Its sides should be absolutely parallel and smooth. Now it's a very important moment, cutting hair on the back of the head, starting from the short hair on the forehead, very carefully across the back of the head up to the withers, where it's middle length. only the standard black Therese haircut and the sequence of modeling the dog doesn't matter. In each concrete case, we would change the sequence, hence judging by the individual features of the dog's anatomy. For example, when we keep longer hair on the body, we can make a rib cage more volumeric, if it is a bit flattened from sides or vice versa. A rounded rib cage will force groomer to cut more hair from the sides. Now let's talk about the choice of the main instrument, about scissors. Here it is important to understand that if the instrument is selected abnormally, not according to your hand, then your hand will be tied in a few minutes, up to morbid feelings. So how to avoid it? You must choose scissors so that your fingers should not dangle in the scissors rings. The little finger should lay on the horn under the ring. It's good when you have one on your scissors. The screw that clamps two cutting edges shouldn't be higher than stretched index finger. It's better when there are liners on the scissors ring to prevent slipping. Here are 3 more requirements to scissors. They should be strong, light and have length of cutting edges about 18 cm for cutting hair on the head and body and 6-8 cm for cutting legs, ears and all such problem places. There are some more kinds of special scissors. Maybe they will be good for you. You should hold scissors correctly, strictly parallel surface of the hairstyle. Only one cutting edge should move, the one that is controlled by a major finger. Other fingers hold another half of the scissors. The second cutting edge should be immobile in relation to the first. If not following these requirements, you will break the endings of a hair and will never achieve the so-called velvet surface of the haircut.
Now we shall talk about show trimming and also about the correction of dog's constitution deformities, if there are some. There is one principle to correct dog's silhouette with the help of the hair, to be exact with the length of the hair. The purpose is to conceal physical defects. So what we could do changing the hair length? We can correct poor or excessive angles of back legs, deficits of progressing over rib cage, straightened or acute angles of humeroscapular articulations, stretched forward, the croup is higher than in withers, sunken croup, sagging back, short or not expressed withers, insufficiently developed musculation and other deficiencies. We can hide all these defects with the help of the hair length, but only if they are not excessive. The experienced groomer, of course, can manage it. Sometimes groomers make mistakes during the hair cutting. The most widespread mistake abroad is when the black Russian Terrier is cut in a Kerry Blue style. In Russia, people keep unfairly lot hair on the chest and front legs that usually make a dog heavier in front. Another common mistake is too long hair on the beard and whiskers, and as a result a very big head compared to body, and on the contrary not enough hair on the muzzle. Sometimes people make the body too volumetric. It's rather simple to correct such mistakes, all you need is to remove everything that breaks harmony.
It's much harder to correct hair damage. This damage has different reasons. The first one is that sunburned hair quickly loses its color and becomes brown, almost red. The second reason is that over-dried by fanned hair loses its shine and looks gray. The third is that if you have used extremely hot water when washing the dog, the hair can become soft and dim when you touch it like cotton. And the fourth is that dry and warm air in your house can cause the same effect. Also, it can help in formation of plickers. The fifth is that you comb your dog with a very hard brush, with thin wiry teeth, and a brush with frequent teeth. You can dissect the endings of the hair, make hair straight, like goats have. The worst effect you can get while combing wet hair. Blurred scissors also descend the hair endings. The sixth, urban air, reaching plants' outbursts, and car exhaust gas are also negative to the hair, because hair is an ideal absorbent. The seventh is that improper and unbalanced food makes the hair short. frequent, dim, and breakable. Color becomes gray or brown.
It's easier to prevent burning up of the hair using the professional dog cosmetics that protects hair from ultraviolet, over-drying and flickers. The proper selection of instruments will prevent damage of the hair. Money which you will spend on acquisition of the most expensive instrument will return to you by absence of problems with hair. Sometimes all dogs' hair becomes frequent and there is an odor from the skin. To get rid of it, you must use special shampoos and conditioners for all dogs. It's not enough for removing an odor, you must consult with a vet. Young dogs have special problems, so a puppy began to walk. From now on it's necessary to begin to train it to table, where it will be always cut and combed. The main point here is regularity, so you must do it every day. In the same way, you must teach puppy not to be afraid of water, but you shouldn't do it every day. The puppy shouldn't be scared of table, comb or scissors. The time you will spend on it will be not more than 10 minutes a day. But the puppy will get used to stay on the table as long as you need to put him in order, and you will learn when the rest is required. You start training puppy to the hair cutting when it's 45 days old. You must cut it once a month, so that the puppy gets used to real full-time cuttings. During such little trainings, you cut the internal and back part of the upper thigh, from the hook joint up to the tail. You also cut its neck, ears, head, a light top line. So what else should you do with a puppy? The first time you should cut puppy close to the skin or in a very short way, brushing out all the outer coat beforehand. You do it when it's 3 months old. It is done to make easier the hair changing from puppies to standard. The hair endings are trimmed keeping the maximum length, or it should be maximum, on the muzzle, legs on the lower part of the chest. And you cut hair very short on dog's back, sides, forehead, ears and withers. And from this moment on, the Russian Black Terrier's grooming needs to be realized as required, within the bounds of the standard. And now we can return to the very beginning of our film. Certainly, all recited here cannot claim for their all-inclusive study in this field. Therefore, we tender you to esteem this film only as a base of that knowledge, which you at any rate will gain with experience of grooming your dog.